Okay, here's a way to self-assess your hip internal rotation. Kate is lying on her back with her basically open guard. She has a 90-degree angle at her hips and a 90-degree angle at her knees. We're doing that even though you want to chest get it at a lot of different levels because it gives us a nice baseline to work from so you can retest in the same position. So from here, she's going to keep a pinch with her right knee against the block, and we're going to test her left knee by having it spin into the block. So she's rotating to get her heel away, but trying to keep a nice straight line so her hips aren't allowed to ride up on either side. Good, and she pulls it back in. And one more time, keep a nice press with the right one. Make sure that your knees don't shift to the side. And rotate that out. Good, squeezing. You can go as hard as you want here, as long as it doesn't feel painful. Cramping is actually almost encouraged. Shaking is fine. It just means you have some neuromuscular confusion and doesn't really know what's going on yet between your brain and your body. But if you keep working through it, it's going to get better. So you could even just do this exercise repeatedly and start working on your hip internal rotation that way, but we're going to show you a way that's a little more efficient. Okay, another way that we can assess this, which is going to play into our testing, we put the block next to Kate's rear leg, and she's in this 90-90 position with hips flexed about 90 degrees and knees flexed about 90 degrees. And she's just going to dig her knee into the ground just like she did with the yoga block before and try really hard not to let her pelvis ride up as she brings her back heel off the floor. So let's see how high we get here. Squeeze your butt and try to lift. You can see the pelvis trying to shift. Kate's monitoring that with her hand on her pelvis. And we get sort of the big toe just to the top of the thing. The heel's a little bit below the block. All right. Okay, we've already stretched her hip out for about 2 minutes, which is important to start out to let things open up a little bit. And here's what we're going to do. It's not going to look like we're doing much, but she's really going to feel what's happening. I want Kate to keep her front knee dug into the ground. And so she's not going to let that ride up, but she's going to drive her ankle, kind of that bone on the side of her ankle, into the mat. We're going to build it up slowly because you don't want to skip any positions. If you just go from 0 to 100, you're going to go right to the stuff that's already used to working, and we're trying to get more motor units on board. So we want to make sure, first of all, that she can generate some power from this range and that she doesn't feel any pain. Pain is always the first checkpoint. Any pain anywhere?
No.
Cool. If you start to drive your ankle into the floor without your knee lifting up, do you feel any pain there?
No.
Okay, do you feel pretty strong here?
Yeah.
Okay, if she didn't, if she was like, I can't generate a lot of power into the ground, I would have her lean out a little bit more until she got to a point that she felt pretty strong, not kind of a weak feeling, right? We have a tennis ball under her front knees. It's just going to help her keep what we call irradiation. When you're trying to create adaptation in the body, you want to have it be as expensive to the nervous system as possible, which means it's really paying attention, right? We also, the law of radiation also means that you're going to be able to generate more power because it says that if we have some muscles engaged here, it's going to help everything else that's touching that muscle and so on and so forth act in a stronger manner. So we're going to irradiate by making fists, driving her front knee into the ground, all that stuff. And we're going to get full body tension. The nervous system's really paying attention before we even get started with this pressure. I'm going to tell Kate to ramp up to our count of 20, which means the first 5 seconds, we're just going to barely push into the ground. Because remember, I don't want to go too fast, so we're going to say, let's pretend that you're trying not to break an egg, but you're trying to hold it in place, or whatever works for you in that respect. I come up with weird analogies for this stuff all the time. All right, so, or you can also think like, how lightly would I have to go if I was just applying 1 cell of pressure at a time for the first 5 seconds? Then we're going to keep building up pressure for the rest of the 20 seconds. I'm going to ask her to hold that top pressure for 10, which is going to be really fun for Kate. All right, and then we're going to let it out. And one other thing I need you to practice before we get started is called a 4-8 breath. Basically, it just means your exhale is about twice as long as your inhale, and it gets the quickest way to a parasympathetic nervous state. So we're going from really ramped up to relaxing and letting the nervous system be really calm in between. So we're going to do 3 sets of pushing to the ground for 20, holding for 10, and then relaxing. We tested this out before, and I thought it seemed like about 3 to 4 breaths of the long exhale before it felt like Kate was relaxed enough to go into the next round. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's do it. Okay, Kate, so full body irradiation first. You can take a nice deep breath, tighten up your abs, feel that start to ride out through your shoulders, start to squeeze your muscles here, make everything really tight. Good, gripping your elbow in at your side. We're making sure your wrist and the other hand is in a comfortable position, but you can grip the floor there. She's pushing down hard through this, and everything is solid as a rock, okay? Now, I'm going to give her a little feedback. If you don't have a person here, just trust yourself to press into the ground. I just want to feel what she's doing. Or you could even put something light underneath your ankle to press into. Ready? And we're going to do that really baby pressure first for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can start to ramp up. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hold for 10. Harder. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Squeeze. 4, 3, 2. Give me all you got. 1. Start to let it out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Long exhale. In. Everything relaxes. But she's not changing the position is very important. Your nervous system needs to know that this range that you just worked hard in is safe. And if you're not able to relax, you need to change your position. It's really important to feel stable. Okay. One more. Let's go. And round 2. First, I want her to irradiate the body. So everything gets tight. She's squeezing your butt. Everything here. She's squishing the tennis ball. Everything's glued on tight. You see if you can find any more tension in your shoulders. Good. And baby pressure first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Starting to get harder. 15, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Crush my hand. 19, 20. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7. Squeeze more here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Start to relax. And you want to let that out slowly too, not just a sudden relaxation. You're letting it out for maybe a 3 count. She's doing her nice easy breaths, calming everything down. Slow exhale through the mouth. 2 more of those. And we have 1 more set of this, and then we're going to do what we call rails. This is called a PAILS. It's a progressive angular isometric load. She's trying to increase the angle down, and then we're going to try to decrease the angle of her hip by bringing it up. Okay, last one. And we're going to do the other side. And nice breath. Belly tight. Squish the tennis ball. Full body. Soft thresher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Crushing. 11, 12. Drive through. 13, 14. We're not losing this knee on the ground. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hold for 10. Almost there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it out slowly. 2, 1. Breathe. Slow inhale, exhale. While Kate's doing her relaxing breath, the next thing that we're going to do is just like we did with the yoga block, except we're in this position. We're going to keep that knee driven into the floor, and then we're going to pull the heel off of the ground. Honestly, you could even go back to the yoga block position if this feels a little complicated to you. Okay, so we just worked really hard on opening up access to the range by going into external rotation so that we can increase internal rotation. Trust me, this is how this works. All right, so what we're going to have Kate do is going to be just like we did with the yoga block before. Her knee's going to stay in place and she's going to pivot to try to get her heel off the ground. If she was upright, it would be swinging out to the side. So we're going to try to make everything nice and solid, just like we did with trying to do the progressive angular load into the ground. So that we only get the motion from the spot that we want to get it from, okay? So Kate's going to increase all of her tension everywhere. She's pushing down into the ball. She's squeezing everything tight. She's doing a nice little monitoring hand in her pelvis here, which I'd recommend if you're doing this at home, okay? And we're going to do 10-second holds for this. So she's going to make everything tight first. Squeeze on. Now, try to lift your heel off the floor without rotating the pelvis and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and down with control. Good. You're seeking cramps here. If you do get a cramp, you get I5 if I see you, but you also are just getting neuromuscular confusion because your body doesn't really know what to do with the range yet. It means that you're opening up the stuff that we're looking for, okay? So you want to push as hard as you can. If you do get a cramp, try to stay with it and get back on the horse as quickly as possible if you do come out. You want to try not to panic and just like, oh, shake it out and stuff, because then you're not going to eventually feel safe in the range. I promise they're going to go away soon. Okay, so deep breath, full body tight. Squeeze this first. Think about where you want the motion to come from. and pull off the ground, get as much as you can. Hold for 10, 9, keep fighting for more the whole time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, sit down with control. Good. The setting down with control is hard. Right? So this time, be like, this time we're not doing no noise. All right? Pretend there's a baby in the room you really don't want to wake up. Okay? So we got one more. Grip onto the ground strong with your fingertips. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Crush that tennis ball. Everything's on fire. Think of where you want the motion to come from. Everything gets tight first. You're pre-tensioning everything. Then go. And 10, 9. You got it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, more. 3, 2. Hold, hold, hold. Down with control. And breathe. We could have done easily, especially if you're feeling really stressed with this. It's very neurologically demanding. Doing those easy breaths in between those sets would be perfectly fine too, okay? So let's do a couple of retests. One of them was we have the block next to her, so she's going to try to lift her heel off of the ground again and see where we are. Now, I don't expect a huge difference every session, right? But this is a really nice difference. We had her toes coming up with every block before. We didn't have the heel. Now we've cleared all the way, right? So there's something. We're also going to show the other angle that we practice with the block. So go ahead and on your back. Head to the camera. Nice. Grab that tennis ball. And we're going to go here. And go ahead. You're going to pinch in with the right knee. Keep it solid. Don't let the pelvis shift. Kick that left heel out to the side. Awesome. Hold for a couple seconds. And again, like I said, you could just do the work from here too. And come back slowly. And one more time, just for kicks here. Awesome. Try to find more. 3, 2. Now the last thing I want to say is you have to use a range of motion if you want to keep it. So Kate's going to demonstrate a couple of things we call CARs, the control articular rotations. She does this every day. Go ahead and all fours. Kate, let's do the all fours version. She's going to try to keep both hip bones facing the floor. And she's going to bring her, like we'll say the left leg since we're working on that, her left leg into her chest while keeping her back flat. Okay? From there, she's going to keep both hip bones facing the floor, back flat, and try to peel her knee as far as she can out to the side. Then here's the tricky part. She's going to keep her knee in one spot and kick her heel towards us in that same internal rotation. Keep your elbows nice and straight. Great. Try not to lean and start bringing it back into extension. Good. Can you turn that way? And we'll show from the side. Thank you very much. Okay, so first thing, nice stacked position. Walk your hips a little bit forward, so a little more over your knees. Other way, wrong way. There we go, good. And knee into chest. Good, beautiful flat back there. She's squeezing tight and knee out to the side. Look at how flat that back is, it's awesome. Keep the knee in place and start to bring the heel to the sky. This is the tough part. This is the internal rotation, good. And then she's gonna bring it all the way back into extension, again, keeping a nice flat back. If you weren't sure about this, or if you had any trouble, I would have you put up against the wall, which is awful because it makes you not allowed to cheat. All right. But thanks so much, Kate. Really good work, and we'll see you guys again soon. Okay. So just to show one more time to bring it all together, with the triangle itself, when I pull her arm in, I lift up. If you think about it, this right here to start is the 90-90 position where I had Kate doing all that work from. So when I do this pivot, I bring this leg into external rotation and this leg into internal rotation. So I'm here, I'm looking, I'm controlling her posture. I do both of those things. I kick my heels out in the same direction to tighten everything up. Then I keep this chop down and cross over for a nice tight triangle. Right? What we're going to do in our next video is talk about the external rotation of this leg, which is super important too. But most people have more of this than they have this, is why I wanted to do it first. So one more time. I'm here, I lift up, I'm controlling your posture, I get my knees pinched, then I internally rotate this leg, externally rotate this. All you have to do is think about you want the knees tight to the person, and you want to kick the heels out in the same direction. That tightens everything up. Then I keep the chop on the top leg. Don't lose my knee. My knee stays in the same spot as I cover the other leg. Then I get a nice tight triangle. And then I can do the same thing. Kick both heels out to the side and finishes it up. Thanks, Keith.